Kindness is always Satan's disguise. And what a great quote. Think about it. Ponder that. Kindness is always Satan's disguise. Who said that? Maybe Jesus. What does that mean? Maybe Jesus. Maybe Jesus. There's a book called Poem of the Man God, a little controversy whether it's divinely inspired or just written. But in Medjugorje, it's a book that somebody asked specifically at one of the apparitions with Mary, and Our Lady said, "Yeah, it's a true book. It's a true book." So I'm going to take it that it is a true book. And I go back to this quote because I'm reading the book, and it's interesting because it fills in the gaps of what we see in the Bible, and it doesn't contradict the Bible. It just kind of adds something to it, and it kind of renews certain things in your heart, you know. So here's where the scene is, where Jesus says this. It's the 40 days in the desert, no food, right? We're getting at the end of the 40 days, and Jesus is in a cave, and he is, of course, gaunt. He's weak, pale, and the devil shows up. And he just kind of, oh man, you're such a young, handsome guy. You gotta get something in you. We gotta get something in you. Look at these stones. Look how smooth and they look like little loaves of bread, you know. And you Jesus, you could actually turn them into fresh, sweet-smelling loaves of bread and eat, you know. And of course, that's the point where Jesus says, you know, man does not live by bread alone. And boom, gone. Scene is over. On to the next one, right? He ended it, bam, with that kind of strength, right? So later, Jesus is I think he's talking to the angels basically when he's talking about this, how kindness is always the devil's disguise. And I started thinking about this and how we talked about once the temptation starts, no matter what the temptation is that we're undergoing, you got to act fast. You got to go to prayer. You can't debate. You can't delay, or you're toast. You know, you are. Speaking of bread, you are toast. You know. Because you're not going to win. He's too good. He's too good. You got to go to God. You got to ask for grace to get through it and then move. As somebody once said, it's like a snowball at the top of a mountain. You can stop it there, but if you're at the bottom when it's an avalanche, you're not winning that one. You're not winning that one. So I started thinking about this quote, kindness is always the devil's disguise, always Satan's disguise. And I thought, no matter what, food and drink, for example, good to a point, right? And then it becomes, have another one. Yeah. I mean, have another one. It's like from heaven. It'll make you feel better, really. After the day you put in today as your buddy, I'm telling you, have another one. Yeah, you'll feel so much better. Because kindness is always the devil's disguise. What else? Let's pick a sin. A gossip. Gossip's a good one. You're going to bust a gut unless you tell that person that thing, you know. And besides that, you're going to go up a notch in their eyes because you're in the know. Tell them. Go ahead. I'm telling you, man, it's going to say it because kindness is always Satan's disguise. Pick another one. Something simple like saying the Lord's name in vain. How about that one? That's always there. What is it about saying, you know, that name, Jesus Christ? What, you know, when you're angry and you just punch it out there, or God's name with a few other expletives in there. What it just gives you that little jolt that it's, you know, it adds more impact. You know, you say the word noodles when you're angry, nothing. You know. So get in the habit of saying the other ones, you know, the deity, because there's just more punch there. I'm telling you, as a buddy, as a friend, because kindness is always Satan's disguise. It's going to make you feel a little better for just a moment there. It will. Pick another. Pick another one. I got to tell you, years ago when I was on the other side of the life issue, I was so much kinder than Christians. I was a better Christian than the Christians because I actually cared about the woman who was pregnant. I cared so much more about her than they obviously did. It's not. I understand too. It's not the right time. It's not the right place. It's a hidden secret right now. There's a better time. It's not a good time. As your friend, as a buddy, as someone who cares, a better Christian than the Christians. I'm telling you, do what you got to do, because kindness is always Satan's disguise. Always, right? Song came with this. I always talk about songs bubbling up. It's funny what bubbled up this time. And I thought, what is this?
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
And I thought, what does that have to do with this? Does it? So I went online and I said, what's the meaning of the song? Well, as it turns out, Johnny Cash had a problem. He was 23 years old. He was married. He was young. He's out there on the road. He's an attractive guy. And there was temptation. So he wrote this song to remind himself, nope, I'm faithful. I'm going to be faithful. I'm writing this song. The lyrics say things like, it's really, really easy for me to be true to you. I am alone at the end of the day. I am alone when the day is through. That's what he wrote. And then, not so much. But it was his way of reminding himself. So when we spiritualize the lyrics, it's not Johnny Cash singing anymore. It's Jesus. I walk the line because you're mine. I walk the line. I'm with you. I'm protecting you. But come to me in these moments of temptation. Come to me and I will give you the grace. I will give you the grace to get over this temptation, but you got to come to me first. Don't argue the point. I don't care because he always comes. The evil one always comes in the disguise of kindness. That is his disguise. So I'm going to take Mary at her word that it's true. No matter who said it, I'm going to go with Jesus on this, but no matter who said it, it is true. Kindness is always Satan's disguise. See you next week on Men's Morning Light.